Hello, Thrift Boss Babes! Finally, I am live. Oh my goodness! I had to rush back to the apartment. I was in Brooklyn, and so I apologize. It's my fault that we are 25 minutes late for tonight's interview. I thought 8 p.m. would be possible, but maybe in the future we should do 9. But hey guys, I'm here. I'm in New York City, and I am so excited to interview the one, the only Thrift Diva, Ayanna Pitterson. So Ayana and she's tuning in live, so hello, I see you, which I can bring you on camera, which is awesome, and I need to put my headset in, so let me get my headset in a while, that way we're all ready to go. Okay, can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, comment below. If you can't hear me, comment below, because this headset's been giving me some issues, so I'm crossing my fingers. Oh, actually, comment. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Awesome. Yeah, happy Sunday. Can you hear me? Crossing my fingers. Oh, can I hear me? Can you hear me? So I'm going to keep chatting just to make sure. Awesome. I can definitely. She's like, you're talking so loud, I can definitely hear you. Okay, so for those of you who are going to be tuning in tonight, and those of you who are going to be watching the replay, so I've known Ayana since I started in the thrift influencer game, and I don't even know how we connected. We're going to have to talk about that, girl, because I think it was from my YouTube channel, right? You found me on YouTube, and I'm not quite sure how like the paths cross, but that is the beauty of being a thrift influencer, is that you make friends. You literally make friends because of the power of your shared interests in the internet and just the way it brings people together. And so I've followed Ayanna's journey and just seen her literally over the last 10 years. I mean, I think it has been about 10 years, right? Start her, her thrift influencer journey as a working mother and wife, and member of the U.S. military through her work as a lawyer, and just really honestly crush it. And I think that what I like to bestow upon people is that you can do anything you set your mind to. It's just about creating the time and choosing the time, not necessarily having the time. So I know that Ayanna's going to talk to us about that tonight. And then also, most importantly, what she has found actually works for her, and maybe some lessons about what hasn't worked for her over the years. And then also just a candid conversation about thrift influencer status and how to achieve it, because it's different than just fashion. Obviously, we're in this niche, so it's a little bit different. And then how it's changed over the years, which I think is going to be really interesting to hear from her. I've taken a pause from working in the world, so I feel like I'm not even quite clear to some degree how things have shifted, you know, since basically becoming, you know, a fashion influencer was a thing in about 2007, 2008. So Ayanna, I'm going to bring you on. I know some more people are jumping on. I did message everyone. I'm going to see if I can get our questions up here. I did message everyone to join in, so I want to make sure people join in before we get started. Okay, cool. So Ayanna, I'm going to add you, and we're gonna do this. Let's do this. Da, da, da. My fingers. Do you want me to add you again? I'm gonna try you again, okay, love? If not, you can probably request to be on, because I can request it. I can add you. Huh, you kept declining it. Let me see, are you saying something, Ayana? Ayana, are you able to accept it? Let me see here. Maybe I can. Okay, I'm going to add you a different way. Please. This is always the awkward part of waiting to make sure that people can connect, because you never know. Everyone's phone is different. There she is.
Hey.
Hey, girl. You look beautiful. No, you're okay. Horizontal.
Okay, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, and I love your earrings.
Awesome.
What the
Oh,
heck?
thank you.
What?
I had to throw something on to liven up my face.
I put on lipstick like immediately before, so I completely understand. Awesome.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and so sorry to be late. Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
You've got, oh, are you in your closet? I was hoping you'd be in your closet.
I am. It's like really messy, but you could see that's
Yeah.
on the side. I have a chair in here and some of my
Look at the shoes. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Do
That's
you like
half the collection.
I was gonna say so this is not on the list of questions, but like how often do you consciously try to clean out your collection?
I would say like every 3 months. Every
Yeah.
3 months or so right now, like if you look down here, those are bags to go away. Those are things to go away. And I'm looking at a bag across there. So to go away. So I have a couple of people that I call when, when I have things, and a couple of females that I know can't really afford a lot of stuff, so I always give them first digs on just getting free stuff. And then I will just take it to a women's shelter in Annapolis here when I'm finished. So, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy for me. It's close to the job, and, which woman won't want new stuff? Pre-loved stuff anyway.
I love the idea. Oh, you've got wine. I love it. I have some here. I love the idea of donating to a women's shelter versus Goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I know, right? Which is kind of weird because I'm always at Goodwill. But, I think the women's shelter, it was more born out of convenience because the place was literally across the street from my job. So it was very easy to just stop by and drop it off. And I just kept doing it. So
there we are. Awesome. So every 3 months. Okay. One of these days, I was just in Washington, D.C. I meant to tell you, but just for the day yesterday, and I was like, I'm kind of close to Ayana. I was like, I need to get down there.
Did you get to do some thrifting?
No, I was there for a baby shower. Yesterday.
Okay. All right.
My life has been nuts the last few days. I've just been like this. But back to you, okay? So I know this part of your story. Because we did our YouTube video together. But how did you get started thrifting? What's your story?
So I grew up in New York City, and of course I'm the oldest of 6. So and a single mom. Yeah. So she just obviously I couldn't ask her to buy expensive. That just wasn't in the cards. But I always loved fashion when I was younger. And one day I was I walked by this place. I knew it was a thrift store, and I needed to get some a container. And someone had said, "Hey, you should check out the thrift store on the Grand Concourse in the Bronx." And I went in and I saw clothes, right? And I went in and I saw clothes, and I was just like, "Whoa, okay." And I always dressed ahead of my time, in the sense that when I was in high school, I wore blazers, and like no one ever wore blazers in high school. It's like a sweater and jeans. I didn't wear jeans. I didn't own a pair of sneakers in high school, like literally only one tennis shoes for a gym class. So the thrift store had all those things that I was wearing that I just could not afford.
Yeah.
And so I just started doing it. I didn't tell people it was from thrift stores at first, obviously a little bit of the being ashamed of, secondhand clothes, until I probably was in college, when I was just like, well, what, F it, I don't care. And so that's how I started thrifting, to be honest with you, just more out of a need, and then more into, after that was more of I could not stand the type of clothes we were finding in the mall, where everyone looked exactly the same, and it was just annoying. Even though even though I think that I feel like that's still a problem in today's fast fashion world, where everybody, even on Instagram, sometimes I was watching a meme. Well, it wasn't a meme. It was a picture of bloggers, but they were making fun of the bloggers in the sense that it was 12 bloggers who looked exactly alike.
I need to see that.
I will send it to you. And it was someone who sent it to me. I mean, they all had the same haircut, hairstyle, same boots, the same boots that was trending, same skinny jeans, same type of pocketbooks. And it just was, it was a comment. The thread had about 3,000 comments on it, and people, you know, knocking the fact that people are losing their individuality because of social media to some degree. But thrift stores definitely keep you looking yourself, which is amazing. So, you know.
Oh my gosh, I love that you just shared that. That's incredible.
I'll definitely send it to you after this. You'll be like, oh, okay.
I will definitely share that, even though I'm usually like so nice, but I'll be like, how about
I
this?
know that exactly. I felt bad, but it should be something that if they saw that picture, they should really step back and be like, am I just buying the things now to sell? You know, because they were all influencers. They are all definitely influencers, but it just kind of made you think a little bit like, what is your style and what is your individual style? You know, not what are you wearing.
Yeah, love that. And I mean, clearly you were born to be an individual. Even, I mean, again, I would argue even as an influencer, because you've always, so sorry, I almost knocked my camera down. You've always had so many things, you know, outside of fashion going on, yet you've chosen to, like, let's run down the list. Have a Facebook group, fan page, blog, YouTube channel, Instagram, and you do events. I think you probably do other things that I'm not aware of. So, like, how was Thrifting Diva born? And then all of these components, how were they born out of that vision? And I don't even know the answer to this, so I'm excited. I'm sitting back.
Actually, so I saw that you had put in 2009. I actually did not start blogging until 2015.
2015?
When I was in Sandy. Yeah. Yeah, it was 2015.
Like okay.
April 2015 was my first blog post.
Cool.
And I found Corinne.
Yeah.
And that's how she said, hey, if you're going to do a blog, you should do a Facebook group. And so I had been in her Thrifting Atlanta group. And that's how I found you, because you were in Thrifting Atlanta's one of the members in the group, and you were posting there. So that's how I found you.
Okay.
And that's probably how you found me, because I was posting and stuff in her group. Then I started and then I started my own group, the Thrifting Divas group.
Yeah. And
that was kind of crazy, because actually this week we made 50,000 members, and I know, thank you. And I didn't see that coming. I honestly didn't see that happening. I was just like, we're at 50,000 members, and that's amazing. So I started blogging, and then doing basically once you started blogging, I also started my Instagram page, and I learned a lot of what not to do in building my Instagram page.
Yeah.
So now, finally, I hit the 10K a couple of months ago in Instagram, and then I started YouTube, and that actually is the one that I want to actually devote my time in 2020 to doing. So I'm going to work on that, and getting more things out of the Facebook group page with the membership and stuff like that. So, but it's 2015 to now. There's been definitely some periods of inactivity based, on family life, or just not knowing where I'm going with something at that moment, and having to pull back and think about what is it that I really want to do. Yeah,
I can relate to that 100%. So you didn't start in 2009, but I would say in 5 years a lot has changed still. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, Facebook Live is still a relatively new tool. So I always have people tell me, like, I've never been on Facebook Live. And I'm like, well, here you go. New tool. It's excellent. So since you started, I mean, I can attest to the fact that in 2015 blogs were being read more than now. And this is something I've said in another interview with Taylor of Taylor Made Style, where we were talking about her blog, and she does more like, it's not necessarily evergreen, but like packaged content that's like really helpful versus just like, here's my outfit. So what have you noticed between then, 2015 and now, in terms of how to reach people and what people are looking for?
Absolutely. So when I started blogging, definitely it was all about the written word, like writing out 300, at minimum of 300 word post and the SEO. So now what is the biggest thing is videos. You know, people want quick, short videos where they can watch on their phone, not necessarily even have a lot of talking on the phone on the videos, but just they could see something, because a lot of people watch these things when they're at work. So if you're not doing you know, what's the word? I'm losing my word. But
blogging?
Not the blog. When you when you have the words on the videos and stuff like that. Subtitles, yeah. Yes, maybe too much wine. But if you don't, you know, things like that is things like that is what you really need to. Sorry, my lighting seems like it's getting weird and wonky. Sorry. So the subtitles and things of that nature, because if you look on, even on Facebook right now, like most people get, you know, if you're scrolling through Facebook, the things that's going to stop you are really the videos, and you go down that trail where you could just watch like 15 videos in an hour and not realize like it's been an hour. So I would say I don't want to go back to blogging per se. I don't think I will, you know, go into lengthy blog posts anymore, but I am transitioning into videos. As you said, Facebook Live is, you know, just the same thing, same process as a YouTube video to me. You should set it up exactly the same, because it's a video that someone is going to watch. Even if they're not watching live at the moment that you get on, they're going to watch it like a video in the streams and stuff like that. So that to me has been the biggest thing. Stories, knowing how to do these stories on Instagram.
Everything.
Huge. Everything. So if you're not, you know, and you can mix it up. If you're a person who is not into putting yourself out there, which, you know, to me, you're going to have to get over. If you want to be successful as an influencer, you have to put yourself out there. So if you're, you know, you're scared about it, I think stories is a good way. It's true. I mean, if you know, people are like, I don't want to put my, exactly. I'm just like, well, then maybe influencer is not the word that you're looking for, or the role that you're looking for. You could do other things behind the scene. But to be an influencer, they want to see you, your fans want to see you, and more importantly, the different big companies, if they're going to hire you, want to see you and your personality. So you're going to have to put yourself out there. But stories is a great way of doing that if you don't want to jump into videos right away, because it's 15 seconds if you want to do just one roll. 15 seconds, and you know, that could just be a picture with a couple of words of you saying something or you explaining something. You don't even have to be on camera right away. So I would say from 2015 to now, the biggest change are the use of videos to convey a message.
Yeah. And then, as you said, shorter intervals. So
yes,
even YouTube. So have you noticed that shorter videos do better for you when you produce them?
So YouTube's interesting. Truly, YouTube is so shorter videos don't do better on YouTube. It's actually it's between 8 to 14 minutes is what is actually ideal for YouTube. And the reason being is that when an individual gets onto YouTube and they start watching your video, if you put out only 3-minute videos, and everyone we know don't watch all the way to the end, right? So if you only put out a 3-minute video and everyone watches the first 2 minutes, but if I put out and that's you put out a 3-minute and everyone watches the first 2 minutes, and I put out an 8-minute video, but everyone watches the first 3 minutes, my score and my relevancy score on YouTube is going to be higher than yours, which is going to get me to get higher in the when they show off the videos and put me in, hey, you may want to see a video like this. So YouTube truly is not a place where you want to do 3-minute videos. It's not going to work unless you're already an established influencer. If you're trying to establish yourself, it should be 8 to 15 minutes. I would say would be ideal for what you want to do when you're doing YouTube video to rank higher.
Yeah, that's huge. I did not know that. That's huge. Oh my gosh. Well, okay. speaking of reach, I mean, and what works for you, what do you, like, over the last 5 years, I'm just going to say 5 years since whatever, April's around the corner, or it feels like it is.
Yes.
In the last 5 years, what have you identified, Ayana, that works for you literally to, like, get more followers and more engagement? Because I think sometimes we confuse gaining more followers with, like, whatever, having more influence, but it really comes down to engagement. What have you identified for you?
So it depends on the, it depends on the platform. Okay, so if we want to break it down a little bit, you're frozen, so please let me know we're still on.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're good now.
Okay.
Okay. So it depends on the platform. So I'll just break it down a little quickly for the platforms that I know works really well, and I think I've cracked the code on some. So Facebook page versus Facebook group, two different things.
Yeah.
Although they're on Facebook, right? And a lot of people just don't get that. They're like, it's Facebook. So let's talk Facebook page, which is probably the hardest to grow, if you notice, than when it was 5 years ago. You can literally put anything and you'll get about 100 followers in a day.
My Facebook page in 2009 was popping. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
I put up a post. I had 30 comments.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, but back
and
to
that. No, so that is, you know, so if people understand that, there are different platforms, different ways to get it. So that's why I say don't overwhelm yourself with having too many platforms, because you have to learn the secrets of each, which is almost like a full-time job. Yeah. I'm a lawyer by trade, so my biggest thing is about research. And I will tell you, I've done hundreds of hours on research on these different platforms, because that's, to me, is the way to get better, not just try and see, because I just don't have the time. So for Facebook page, I would say understand that it's a pay to play to a major degree, meaning Facebook page is out to make money. Facebook is, they want you to buy ads. And so that's why you would notice every time you put something up, they'll ask you to boost the post, or they'll send you a message on, hey, if you know, this post is doing 85% greater, you could reach a bigger target audience if you advertise. And it's true. You will do that at some point. But if you're still growing and you're starting off and you don't have a big budget, I would say don't stress it. Don't make Facebook page be the determination of whether or not you're doing great or not. In the sense that you use it, you want to make sure that page continues to have content on it. But if you're not advertising, meaning you're not buying Facebook ads, then understand you're not going to reach a lot of people. Meaning Facebook, when you put out a beautiful post, Facebook is only going to show it to about 3% of your followers. And if you don't have a lot of followers, 3% of that is not a lot. And it's okay. And just, if I understand that I'm not paying for this, I'm not paying for this. But what I have noticed, because I have not paid for a post on my Facebook page in probably, only time I ever paid for posts is if I have an event and I want to spread the event. I have noticed, though, some things that have worked for me to reach a lot of people. And that is to ask questions in my Facebook page. So anytime I post on my Facebook page, I am never putting a link to go off that page, ever. Especially if I'm not advertising at all. So if I'm not paying Facebook for it, I am only going to use the page for people to stay on the page. So I never put links that direct them off of the page. If you do that, understand Facebook is not going to send that link to anyone, including if you put a YouTube. Like some people, they blog and they put their, hey, my new blog post has come out today, check out my blog, and the link goes to your blog. Or new YouTube video is out, check out my YouTube video, and there's a link to YouTube. Their competitors, they're not going to send a lot of people to that, period. So understand understand why that is. I mean, they're competitors. You're not going to go into Wendy's and tell them, hey, across the street I have a sale going on at Burger King. Burger King's not going to put that out. They're not going to expect you,
Wendy's,
yeah, exactly. Okay, so if we understand, and that's just common sense, understand that. But when I post on my Facebook page, which has been growing tremendously lately, within the last 6 months, I would say I've gotten thousands of new users on my Facebook page without paying to promote, has been just keeping the user on the Facebook page, meaning I am writing content that keeps them there. And when I say writing content that keeps them there, is to ask questions. Never ever say comment below. Never ever say share. Never ever say like, because Facebook is not going to, they're not going to promote those kind of things, because they want the user to be there almost like in a community wise. So they don't want you to direct them. So when people used to say, yeah, exactly, don't push them. So good questions, you know, like today I posted a question, and the question is a very authentic question. Would you wear yellow in winter or fall? And that promotes a lot of discussion. And because people are commenting, Facebook will continue to share the post. And so before I came down here, this, you know, the post had been pushed to about over 1,500 people. Wow. Which is huge, because I did not pay a cent for that. Okay? So the more you can get people to stay and comment and talk, and you know, not in a yes or no way, but a discussion way, the more Facebook says, oh, whatever this person is doing here is creating a community that's staying in this post longer than the like and go. They're commenting, and therefore we want more people to come to this post and do the same, and they will do that for you. So that's when it comes to Facebook page. It's a little trickier, especially when you're not paying to post.
I just learned so much. Like, seriously. I mean, we're going to move on, but like, where is your social media course? And how can
That's 2020. Yes, that is my...
Sell it to my people.
That is my 2020 goal. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, carry on. What's next? Guys, this is free information, and we don't have many people watching live, so everyone who's watching the replay, I'm going to make sure you watch the replay. Okay.
So Facebook group is where it's going to be. If you're in 2020 and you want to be an influencer of any kind, you need to have a Facebook group. And Facebook group just put out all this information about what they're going to look for in 2020. They're making a bunch of changes that's coming to Facebook. And the biggest change people are going to see is the amount of push Facebook is going to have in the groups now. They're doing live, I mean, you can see ads on your regular news channel now for a Facebook group.
I saw them in New York.
Okay.
I saw them in New York, yeah.
Exactly. So
I was like,
yes, and
I sent her a photo.
This is what they're doing, and they want, because they want to go back to what Facebook started as, which was community. You remember, you could only be in a university or college to get a Facebook. Remember that? So they're trying to go back to those days, and also because of the heat they've been getting with regards to privacy invasions and the political arena of fake news. Yeah. Exactly. They want people in the groups now, because when you're in a group, the discussion can weed out the fake news. That's kind of what they're hoping for. But regardless if you're an influencer, if you're trying to create any type of buzz around your name or product or brand, you have to have a Facebook group. Yeah. And it could, it could be your niche, whatever it is, but you have to do it. And to do it, though, you have to nurture it in the beginning. You have to be able to be in there more than once a day, and you cannot post and run. You can't post and run. And when I say post and run, I see this so many times with different groups that start up, because a lot of people start up their groups, they come to Thrifting Divas and then they're like, oh, I'm going to start one like that's similar. And I see these are the three things that I've noticed that are killing most groups. And you'll know in about 6 months, I know if a group is going to take off or not. And that is, one, their posting strategy is non-existent, meaning they're not looking at the data that their group is giving them, which Facebook does a good job about giving us great analytics about our groups, and they're not using that information, meaning they post whenever. They don't post on a schedule, knowing when their fans and people are normally around and there. They post without any type of engagement questions. So in my type of groups that I've noticed, obviously with fashion, they just post a picture and they leave. There's no engagement, as in asking me, the end user, to give a thought about what I'm looking at versus to just click like and walk away. In groups, you don't get much credit because there are a lot of likes on a picture, which is what people think is what is the biggest thing. It's actually the engagement in the comment section. And even with the likes, you would rather people hit the emoji, the laughing emoji, than the like emoji. You rather people hit a love emoji than the like emoji. I would rather people hit an angry emoji than a like emoji, just because that tells Facebook somebody is having a reaction to something.
Wow.
And the like is the automatic it's a neutral factor. It does nothing for your stats and anything like that. And the same way we talked about with Facebook page of how Facebook sends out the content, it's the same thing in the group. Meaning you put up a group. I have 50,000 members in my group now. And, every post will only be seen depending on who that individual is. Because, those little new member tags versus a visual storyteller.
Yeah.
Facebook looks at that information. So if I put something up, Facebook knows that I'm a visual storyteller in certain groups. And therefore, even in that group, even if it's a small group, my content in that group will go to 10%. And if people like it, then they roll it out to another 10% of the group. And that's how it gets viral in the group. But when you post, everything doesn't go to everyone. It's just a post,
I didn't know that either. Wow.
So I
thought
no, it doesn't.
They all see the post.
No, absolutely not. And it's probably in 2020. They say it's going to go down again. So it's going to probably be 8% at the high level, and then out to 15, then out to 10, another, depending on what. And the way you get it to go to more people is that engagement. You ask questions that yay or nay questions are so easy and can make a post viral, right? So you want to mix those in. You want questions that ask people to make a choice. You want questions that ask people to give a gut reaction on something. You want questions to do something. So that's why social media for influencer is not about just, I need to post something. You really have to think about these questions. You have to kind of plan these things out ahead. So my questions, my posts in my group are planned out for the next 2 weeks because I just don't have time in the mornings or in the evenings to do it. So I post, I know the days, I know the times that my groups are awake and around, and I know what kind of questions I want to ask them. So that's on Facebook. And then Instagram is another beast, right? It works the same because obviously Facebook owns Instagram. The same thing where they're, one of the big things, I don't know if they've decided yes or no if they're doing it, but Instagram, you're no longer going to see how many likes are on other people's pictures.
I'm curious what's going to happen.
Yeah, so that's coming.
It's coming.
Huh?
It's coming. How do you think that's going to change things?
Well, they're trying to do the community thing as well. They're trying to get people to engage in the community and not engage based on likes and things. So you're individual. I could see how many people like it, but you won't be able to tell on my picture how many people like it. But once again, you should be ahead of that. If you're following these tips, you're not just posting and running. You're really asking questions that creates feedback. And if you create feedback, this won't stress you. It'll just be, okay, cool, I'm doing what I need to do. Because you're still going to see your own stats. Yeah. Another individual just won't see my stats, Wow. But if you're following that one simple technique of really thinking of engaging questions, meaning the people in your group are people like you're talking to, not just people that you're selling to, not just people that you're trying to get them to do something for you. It will come very easily, and you get the knack of it within in a week or two, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But Instagram is going to try to push that engagement as well.
Yeah. That's going to change a lot, and we're kind of going off track here, but it's going to change a lot for, I think, how influencers are hired for sponsored posts.
Absolutely.
But then also back to, this community is about resale. So it's like, how can resellers create engagement around fashion?
Right.
Like, hey, here's like a pretty thing I'm selling, you know?
Right.
So how would you advise? This is totally off the question, but like,
no, it's fine.
Selling on Instagram or using Instagram as a tool to promote themselves to sell somewhere else, how would you suggest to them that they create engagement?
So I've thought about this question a lot because I don't sell, and I don't myself is saying to people who want to resell is to.
I gotta get my charger because I don't know why my phone decided to not live up to 40%. It's already at 10. So we're gonna be talking a lot.
I should check
so
my mind.
Sure. Okay, so back to what you were saying.
So for reselling, I would say that you create the community, and then the selling is the byproduct.
Right.
Versus sell and then try to grab people, because you might get a sale or two that way, but you won't get people looking forward to what it is that you have new in the shop or pulling out or going to shop for. And I say with social media, it's easy in the sense that, you're not selling a shirt, you're selling an evening wear, you're selling confidence, you're selling a new work outfit, you're selling a new body. All these things happen. Clothes go on to people. It doesn't just sit there, right? So why are people not, I see all these Instagram shops, and if that's what they want to keep it as, just simply the clothes by itself, okay, I just don't see it being successful. I see that, maybe you'll have a couple of people who will go there if they're looking for something specific to go and ask them, like, oh, maybe this person will have something like this in the shop. But questions that should be talking about it, I think the ratio should be educate, sell.
Right.
So every third post should be a sales post. 2 posts before should be about either yourself, me getting to know you better, me getting to know your process, me getting to know the shops you're looking at, me getting to know what I could do with clothes, me getting to understand textures better. You have to sell me beyond just selling me the clothes. I think you have to sell me your vision, why you buy the things you do.
It's not like some of the resellers I'm seeing who are doing a really good job, who have got like 200,000 followers. And I'm like, I don't see a thrift fashion influencer with 200,000 followers when I'm seeing the resellers, right? And I'm kind of maybe 30,000, but still, like, that's a larger number than average. And they're talking about how much money they make and the process of, like, I'm doing this for my family, or like this was hard, or I learned this.
Right.
And said about textiles, like they're sharing educational information about textiles, or like the style of clothes, like this is what you call this, collar, or this is what you call like the shape of skirt, which I don't even know all that information, so I'm always interested and curious. So
exactly.
Education, right? Education and being transparent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of just showing me, the pictures, because I've gone to lots of resale Instagram accounts, and it's literally, flat lays, right? All flat lays.
Nice.
All flat lays.
Yeah.
How much, the size and how much it is. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, it is what it is. But when people reach out, I get a lot of people who reach out to me on behind and say, well, how can I grow my feed? And I'm just like, I don't want to be sold to every single second of the day. And your feed is doing that every single second of the day. So I will easily not, I won't follow you.
Right.
Because of that. Because, you want, social media is not about, it's not a storefront shop, right? That's the reason we can go to the mall and leave. Or we can go to a, brick and mortar and leave. So you should figure that out. Figure out how to have people still be on your content and not feel like they're in a shop and that they're now in your living room. They're now in your bedroom. They're now relaxing with you while you put together the next set of inventory. They're now thinking about what you're looking at. And a lot of people don't get that. They think that social media, to do social media, I think a lot of people look at the ones, as you say, who have 200,000 followers and they're doing great. They didn't start there. You have to start somewhere. And if you want to start and go in a good trajectory, I think is to understand what exactly social media is and what it isn't. And what it isn't your quick fix of, I could just put this out and everybody's going to come buy it.
Right, right. And there's also, I always say this, and it's something, as long as I'm working as a coach, know, like, trust, buy. Know, like, trust, buy. So first I know you. Then I like you. Okay, cool. Like, we relate. There's just some aspects. Trust. You might share something vulnerable. I might share something vulnerable. There's like another layer where, at least, in terms of like getting to know people on social media, you feel like you got to know that person, or you make a comment, and then you're like more open to buying because it's that person becomes a friend, even though like you might not even know each other in real life. Now, do people, Ayana, and I know I'm like totally off here, but do people ask to buy your clothes?
All the time.
What do you say?
All the time.
What do you do?
I just tell them it's not for sale. I get that oh my goodness. At least once a day I get someone asking, hey, are you selling? Do you have a shop? Can, that thing you posted, would you be willing to let it go? All the time.
So basically what you're telling me, gosh, I'm going to make every single boss babe watch this interview, is that the fact that you're creating just content around style, education, expertise, your life, which we're going to dive more into what you do. Right. People, without you selling, want to buy you. Without you selling.
Exactly. Yes. That's why I always say to people, you don't have to, you don't have to barrage people on selling. It will come. And if you have it, and at that point, if you say, yeah, I'm ready to sell, it will be easy. If the day comes where I said, I think I should start selling, I think I'll be okay. But right now, my joy is teaching, not selling right now. I mean, and if I get paid to teach, I'm okay with that. But my joy is really in teaching.
Yeah. So, okay, back to being a teacher. And we may have actually talked about some of these things, but what content over the 5 years have you tried that just does not work for you?
What has not worked for me?
Like something for me that doesn't work. It can. It has to come from the right place. But if I'm too like blah 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 blah, and I can be that way. So I have to watch myself. But if I'm literally like, hey guys, I'm sober for 30 days because of this, and it's really from that genuine place, like, because I'm feeling it, like I'm deep in my emotions, and I'm not just trying to get someone's attention with a thought, but I'm like literally like, people, it's like they feel it differently. So anyway, back to you.
So then I guess I would say on when I don't plan out things, hasn't worked, where I say where I jump on and I'm just gonna do a live without a thought of what this live is gonna be.
Yeah.
Ooh, it has not worked. It has not worked. And yes, they say live is supposed to be spontaneous. No, it's not. Yeah. Lives are YouTube videos planned out, except you're live. Meaning, an intro, a script, you know, you don't have to be written. An intro, a script, why and how. And it needs to be focused, not all over the place, but very focused, what you're going to talk about, and why should this person listen. When I've tried doing, hey guys, I'm jumping on, we're going to talk about this, it has been poorly executed, and it didn't go how it was supposed to go in my head. Right. So I have learned to be very disciplined about those things. So I don't go on live often. In 2020, I have set up I have a calendar where I'm literally 2020, I'm going to work this better, but I am going to do it as a calendar, like meaning a live is going to be, you know that I'm going to go live versus I'm just jumping on live. Yeah. And for some people it works. I mean, I don't know how they do it because I know they didn't script it, but maybe that's their fans, their members are more like that. And maybe if I did it more often, it will be a little easier, but it hasn't worked in the past. So I know that when I start doing it again, I need to be focused.
I think at the end of the day, like, and we're just having like a general conversation between people that create content. It's like, there's no right way. Sometimes you just, like you said, like you do have to throw stuff against the wall. You want to research, but then there's some ways of doing things that you need to try out for yourself. So like, I am very good off the cuff because I have so much training. I have so much TV training. And, I'm not really a teacher. I'm more an entertainer. So I can captivate you guys because I'm like this. And you're like, right. Doing? And I can just be like, but also like you said, an intro, a beginning and an end and a story arc is really important when you're going live. So what I do is sometimes even on my iPhone, I'll write out just 5 points to hit. Got it. But if I'm just walking around the city and I just want to like show off the city, like you're right, it never works. But if I'm at a Buffalo Exchange and I'm like, hey guys, I'm at the Buffalo Exchange and this is where I take my NYC Bargain Thrift Store tour. There's 6 in the city. I give quick facts and then I show people one thing that I think is awesome. And then I do like a lay of the land, and usually it tapers off from there. And then, I say goodbye, and I'm just like, I want to check out. But like, there has to be like this one thing that people are waiting for me to show you. So it's all a strategy. Got it. Like you said. Okay. So back to so we talked about reselling and wardrobes and influencer selling. Okay, let's talk a little bit more, because I think that a lot of people, too, who want to become influencers, also, we were just talking about sponsored content and, how that might change in the future. But there's so many other ways to monetize your business, and I know that you've never done Thrifting Divas with that in mind, but you have created some sort of revenue stream, for lack of better words, to at least do what you do. So can you walk us through what else you do with Thrifting Diva besides content?
So I've done swaps before, and I love those. Those are my fun ones because quick, simple, easy. You get to meet a lot of great people, and swap for people. Normally, I charge about $10 for the swap, or depending where we are. But I love those. I've done bus tours as well, and Karen is the one who really helped me do those, and she does those monthly. I am definitely someone, after I do them, I'm like so burned out for like the next 6 months. But yet people are always like, come on, please do another one, So I will. I just get burned out. I don't know why. I don't know how she's able to do them on a monthly basis. So I've done those before. I've done styling where I bring people to different thrift stores and just to be a personal stylist for them for that day. So we'll do a circuit of thrift and consignment stores and do personal styling and help them get ready for whatever it is they're looking for. And I've done classes, styling classes to incorporate thrifted pieces. I've done speaking engagements to young ladies about, you know, the art of dressing, the art of an evolving style, and not, you know, understanding that your style is going to change, and it should. You know, as you get older and you get more mature and you earn more money, it should absolutely change. But that even when you're younger, it doesn't have to be about the money, because thrift stores can get you to still look trendy, chic, just the same with the money you have in your pockets. Yeah. And then I've done a social media boot camp before, where a weekend boot camp where was 10 of us, where I take 10 individuals for a weekend, and they do, you know, mastering their brand and how to use social media to grow the brand that they're looking to grow. So those are the things. Which
I would love for you to offer more in the future.
I know, yes, 2020 for sure. I'm working on the website. I'm working on the freebies and all these different things, because I do think that if you're going to be an influencer, you have to understand social media. Like, there's just no way around it. And you don't have to master every platform, which it's idiotic to try to think you will. Yeah. But you have to master something, because the word influencer in 2020 is going to mean social media influencer, unless you are, you know, a celebrity.
Got it. Or even better yet, I think what I'm hearing you say, and I want to repeat it for anyone who's new, is community builder. Community builder is really what it's about. Because influencer of the past was like, hi, I'm pretty. I'm wearing...
Yeah.
And, you know, hey. Yeah, sorry. It's great making fun of myself, because I know I could be that role if I wanted. But... It's so shallow, and what we've seen emerge from that is, like, to keep up with the Joneses, there's a lot of fake followers or engagement pods where they don't even know each other.
Exactly.
Commenting on each other's stuff. So, okay, so back to actually producing content. So tell us about the tools that you use.
So I use my phone for a lot of things, right? So the apps most of my content is created on my phone. So if Visco...
Your DSLR?
Actually, I have not used my DSLR in probably a year.
Because times have changed. Okay, share.
Right? If you have a great phone, you should be fine. But you have to... Pictures are, if we're going to start with pictures are everything. And you need to understand that if you're going to use your phone, or even if you're going to use the DSLR, make sure you are composing properly. Make sure that your pictures are composed in a way. So no dark pictures, no blurry pictures. I mean, like, at this day and age, if you have dark and blurry pictures, this is not going to work. We're going to start there. I'm just going to be real with you. It's not going to work. If I look at your picture and I'm like, what are you wearing? Or what are you trying? It's not going to work. Yeah. And I'm not saying you need a DSLR for that. I'm sorry. Like, I have done a lot of my pictures with my cell phone that my husband clips, you know, and then I work on apps that, you know, enhance it a little bit. So, you know, your composition, you can just Google photography composition, get a quick 2-3 tips on how when I talk about composition, which is knowing the rule of thirds, you know, never centering your photos, doing it on the side a little bit, you know, one way, because the eyes, you know, Exactly. So those are things, I mean, if you want to do this for real, you have to educate yourself on some things. And it doesn't mean that you have to pay to educate yourself on these things, because a lot of these things are free on the websites, free on Google. So Google composition of better photos, and you can get tons of examples and people talking to you about how to do that. Some of the apps that I absolutely use every single time, I will never post a picture unless I edit it to some degree. Now, I used to have a photography business, so that works. I mean, I know how to do those things a little better than others, but these apps are so amazing that anyone can use it. So Visco, VSCO, is one that I use, and I don't even pay. No, I have upgraded to the paid version because I use some other things in there. But there are tons of different photo editors that people use. Snapseed is another one. But the one that and Lightroom, if you know anything about Apple Lightroom, that's a good one to use. So exactly. And I have all three on my, depending on what I use. But Visco is the one that I can do and batch very quickly. I use InVideo. Or Video Shot is the one yes. InShot is the one I use.
No competitors. It's InShot. Yeah.
InShot. And it's amazing. It's quick. It's simple. And that's how I edit my videos for my stories and for Instagram, or anytime I want to put a video up, especially because of the lighting. InShot is able to quickly edit the lighting, because lighting is key. Okay, lighting is key on videos, so you want to make sure that you have really bright lighting. Another app that I use Grammarly. That's just in help. Grammarly helps with my caption and what I write, and making sure I sound, like I'm not a dork. So I use Grammarly for that one. Yeah. Okay. Canva. To make my, sometimes I use Canva to make my stories just pop out a little bit, because they have templates, so I like that. And I use Canva a lot to make any type of graphics. When I use a flyer, things like that, I use Canva and PicMonkey for my graphics. PicMonkey, unfortunately, you have to pay for that one now. I thought it was a good investment because I was using it a lot, especially when I have my YouTube channel. PicMonkey is great for my thumbnails and all these different things like that. But you have to pay for that one. Canva, they do have a better suite of free elements that you can use, but you could also upgrade and pay additionally later on if you want to. For all of these, I say try them out if you like them, and if you want more things with them, then you could pay for it, but you could definitely try them out. The other thing I use, I do use Latergram for posting my Instagram. It helps because you can now auto post from Latergram into Instagram. It used to be it didn't have that option. Now I don't have to worry about anything. I set all my posts up on Saturday nights and Sunday, and throughout the week it will post on its own. On Facebook, I use the Facebook auto scheduler so that I can put all my posts in my page and on my group, so it will automatically schedule those posts out there for me. Yeah. So those are the ones that I use on a, and I'm always listening out for different apps that people might be using and things of that nature. But those are the big ones that I'm using right now.
Yeah, and it answers one of our next questions, which, and I'm finding myself in this place as well, because I want to be more consistent on social media, but to be frank, it's a part-time job. And so I have discovered later.com, and I have a question for you actually about that. But this answers one of our forthcoming questions, which is like, you're busy, you have a full-time job, you're a mom of 2 children, you're a wife, you have a life, you eat sometimes. So using the tools and spending a little bit of money can just really make things a lot easier. And I think sometimes we get caught up in this, like, oh, I don't want to spend money to make money, but that's just really how it works.
Yes. I mean, I mean, every startup company has to spend money. They need investors. I mean, you have to invest in yourself, unless you get somebody else to do it. True, indeed, I don't want to spend a lot of money in the beginning, but I like the fact that a lot of these things you can use free in the beginning, but you cannot expect people to want to spend money on you if you're not spending money on yourself. You can't. And the minute you think that that's how it's going to be, then I think you're going to get your feelings hurt, or you're not going to be as successful as you think you are. So, you could be wise. You could be wise about it. You don't have to spend everything, be wise about it. But I don't even think about those things. If I find something that I need and it will make my job or what I'm doing better or more at a different level, I'm spending the money on it, But.
Yeah, amazing. So back to later.com, I'm curious. This is actually, I'm kind of selfish with this question, but guys, later.com is a platform where you can basically create your posts on a scheduler. Now, what I was, and it's desktop and it's an app, but what I thought, Ayana, so tell me otherwise, we may need to upgrade, is that it would send you a notification to press post. Can I just have it automatically post without me having to press something else? All right, hello everyone. It is Sammy here. I'm at a Whole Foods, finishing out our interview with Ayana of Thrifting Divas tonight. I do a lot of work here at Whole Foods, and just because of the nature of my day, I figured, I would just do the Facebook Live Raw and Real here from Whole Foods. So please pardon the distraction behind me. Actually, in front of me, I'll show you guys at the end of the interview. Hey, Esther. I have the city in front of me. So at the end of the interview, actually I can probably do it right now. Here, I'll show you guys because we're still waiting on Ayana. Yep, see, there's the city in front of me. And then behind me is the Whole Foods Cafe where I like to work. So yes, I know, right? It's crazy. I'm such a crazy thrift boss, babe. But that's why I love this industry, because you can work just about anywhere, and you can design your life, and you can design your schedule, and you can design your freedom. So guys, I'm going to really quickly recap and then bring Ayana on. For those of you who are tuning in, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Just say hello. So Ayana is a thrift influencer. She's been building her brand since 2015. She is the founder of the 50,000 member plus thrift community, Thrifting Diva. She is also a thrift influencer on Instagram via her fan page, her YouTube channel, and also in-person events, in addition to her blog. So she is a very busy woman, and she is really a social media expert. Like, she digs into the trends and what different platforms are expecting and asking of its users right now and also for the future. And she shared some super awesome information with us. Yeah, it is beautiful, right? And Ayana's also from New York, but she shared some super valuable information with us. So if you have not watched the first part, please go back and watch it. Unfortunately, my phone died, and so we couldn't carry on. So this is why we're doing part 2 tonight. So Ayana, I'm going to bring you on, my love, and let's do the damn thing. There we go. Hopefully the technology gods are on our side. They were before. I don't think we had any issues. I think we had like a quick freeze, which is not a big deal. There she is.
Hello.
Now I hear you. I didn't even have my volume up. Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, I get to see you again.
I know, twice in a week.
How is your car before we start?
It's good. It's okay. Thank God. It's not, it was a very minor thing, but I have an Infinity, and it kind of messed up with some of my whatever the computer functions, so I needed to get it restored. So it wasn't like any major body work, but the car was just glitzing after that. So I don't know what that was about.
Totally understand. Hey, I'm just glad you're okay. So we're going to jump. Well, first of all, for those of you who didn't tune into the first episode, I'm going to call it, Ayana is in her closet, which is in your basement, right?
It is. It's in my basement, little parts of it.
It's beautiful. It's like everyone's like, I want to go hang out there and have wine and hang out. And so she is in, what city are you in exactly? Are you in Annapolis or are you outside?
I live in Annapolis.
Annapolis,
I work in D.C., but I live in Annapolis.
Oh, you work in D.C. See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I work in D.C. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit of a trek.
That is a trek.
Yeah.
Oh,
but,
girl. Yeah, hence the car issue. But anyway, we're not going to focus on that. So when we dropped off before, we were talking, you and I, just about basically like, well, two things. We're talking about later.com, but it went back, and guys, we'll talk a little bit more about later.com, but it went back to just the fact that you're super busy and you've created these systems to help you to continue to grow your platform. So let's kind of start there with how, as a busy mom, as a busy lawyer, as a busy wife, as a busy human being, you've been able to systemize some of your processes. And then I want to hear, because you've been doing this for 5 years or almost 5 years, really why you think people keep coming back to you, Thrifting Diva. Like, what do you offer in terms of content and who you are that's unique?
So I'll answer the first question about busyness and how to stay focused. And the answer is I'm not great at it. I'm getting better. I think there's a couple of things that everyone needs to understand. Like if they want to be super focused on making money and and driving their business, is discipline. Like there's nothing you can do. You can't add additional hours in the day. Like there's just, you can't. Like I wish I could add an extra 4 hours in the evening. I can't. So discipline has to be your number one. If you do anything, if you don't do anything else, is figuring out how you can be more disciplined in what you're doing. And I think doing that is adding some tools that can help you. I use a couple of things. I try to maximize the amount of time on the weekends because honestly, I can't do much in the weekdays. I'm just too tired. And as we mentioned just now, I have an hour commute each way. So in the evenings, I'm just not really in the mood to do creative thinking. And truly, my creative thinking is not in the evenings. My creative thinking is in the morning time. So I maximize what I can do on Saturdays and Sundays that can run me through the week and use different automation tools that can help out. So I would say the discipline. Second thing is just understanding that if this is not your full-time job and you're not able to devote as much time on it, I think the best thing to do is to figure out what it is that you can do and not get overwhelmed in trying to attack everything every day. So your week might look like, I am going to focus on A, B, and C only. And everything else is not in this week. And the following week or the following day, I'm going to focus on this. And trying to give yourself that type of momentum. In the military, we call it a, what's the battle rhythm going to look like? What's your battle rhythm? And that battle rhythm means basically what is the things that you have to keep doing for a mission to succeed. And the same thing, your mission is if you want to sell more, if you want to buy more, if you want to do different events, if you want to do a blog and things of those nature, then you have to develop a battle rhythm, and that battle rhythm needs to be consistent discipline. And then to answer your second question about, which I kind of lost track already.
I'll let you know, no worries. Why do you, we talked, and I'm going to debrief people just as we go because sometimes it's hard to remember. Even myself, I'll read a book and be like, what was the last chapter? So in the last chapter, Ayana, what I see and what I've learned from her, and that was such a great point about discipline and only focusing on a few things per week. I try to do everything in one day, and it is definitely my Achilles heel. And then I have a breakdown. But what differentiates you from from a lot of other thrift influencers, I would say, and even fashion influencers, because not everyone has really understood this, is that you're building a community everywhere. So you're asking questions and basically raising conversation in some sort of creative manner versus like, hey guys, I'm wearing a scarf, you know, which is what people still think social media is, and that's not what it is. It's really about, again, bringing forth community and involving your following. But like, besides that, you know, what do you think you offer, Ayana, that's making your followers come back for you?
I think a lot of my followers can just simply see that a little bit of it is authenticity. That when they look at what I'm doing and they look at their own lives, they realize that they can also do exactly what I'm doing and probably better, right? I am just brave enough to put myself out there. But they can really look at me and say, you know, she's a mom, she's a wife, she has a job, you know, and she likes fashion and, you know, she has a good eye for it. Yeah, but I could do the same thing too and be really good at it. So I think authenticity and just letting people in a part of my, you know, I share, I'm not an oversharer, I would say. Like there's some people who overshare on social networks, but I think I share at the appropriate time and with my followers about my life outside of thrifting. And people really connect with me on that level, I think, where it's like, I could see myself just hanging out with this individual. Like this, what she's doing is not so out of the realm that it's like, it's just a phase that I can't do. And then for me, obviously thrifting is easier in my life because it's very affordable. And when you look at a lot of high-end, you know, a lot of fashion influencers, actually, the things that they're wearing is just so sometimes just not realistic that a lot of people are going to be able to go out and buy the items, $1,200 outfit, and then the next day a different $1,200 outfit. Right. Whereas I'm looking at you and I'm saying, hey, or shoes. You know, so I think a lot of it, people have to realize that, you know, my life, I have 2 kids. My monies can't go on just what my needs are. I have kids that, you know, I'm raising and that their needs are going to be more important than mine a lot, you know, most of the time, right? 98% of the time, I'm going to meet their needs before I meet mine. But thrifting allows me to be able to do that. So I think one of the big things with people who are starting to build a brand is build a brand true to yourself, right? Like, so when I look at Sammy, I know this is Sammy, how she dresses, the things that she likes, and you're not swaying from that because there's a trend, you know. You may incorporate the things in there, but your brand of Sammy is going to always be true to Sammy. And I would say that for everyone. So be going back to the consistency and discipline, it goes into this, that be true to yourself, because at the end of the day, it's going to make things easier when you need to post ideas, when you need to post things, when you're just thinking about what is it that you, Sammy, would want to hear or see from someone. That's how you're able to do it. But be true to who you are so that people get to know who you are, and just, you know, like someone that you can, you know, we're not talking fashion. We could go out and have dinner. We could go out and have drinks and feel like we connect with each other.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a process, right? Because it can be so awkward for people. Like, I think about just like even getting on stage. Like, for me, it's still like, I mean, I've done it, but I'm not doing it all the time. So like social media is your stage. So it's like tiptoeing and like trying new things, and maybe being like open to deleting a post if you're just like, all right, this just doesn't settle well with me. And finding your voice where like, you know, you have your own life story and you're going to share it through a certain lens. I have my own life story. I'm going to share it through a certain lens, and it's fine because I've decided it's fine. Versus, like you said, maybe someone's doing something some way and you're like, oh, well, let me mimic that, whether it's in my caption creating or my outfit creating or whatever. And it might work, but there's just no longevity to it. So
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And I think what you offer, you know, just to talk to you about you, is like you make like your outfits just do not look thrifted. Like I think that sometimes certain people's outfits can look like thrifted because it's a little bit more hipster. It's a little bit more like 80s, 90s, like
Right.
which really are the
vintage.
trends right now.
Right.
And but what I see you do is like really take. You look like you're out of the catalog, and I think that that's what being a diva is. It's being fresh and just like straight out of the catalog, like out of the spa, right? Like nails done, hair done, everything done. Like you epitomize that, and it's so cool because it speaks to the thrifter, but then it also brings in a different type of woman who might not have thought about it, but she still
Right.
sees herself in you.
I could get that. I could see that. Thank you.
Cool. You're welcome. I just wanted to love on you a little bit. So like,
Thank you.
let's just say, you know, long story short, we've been talking about social media. You briefly even brought up in our last interview, part 1, that you're going to make a course, which is super exciting.
Yes.
And courses, guys, are so invaluable because you just don't get, I almost swore, but you don't get stuff done until you like put your booty on the line. So once Ayana
Right.
releases that, I'm going to be promoting it to all of y'all.
Thank you.
But so yes, so if you had like a student or someone that wanted to hire you as a consultant, and they're just like, all right, like, where do I begin? What would you tell them to be a thrift influencer, like specifically?
So I think if they wanted to do to be a thrift influencer is to a couple things they'll need to do. First,
Yeah.
it is to determine which platform they want to focus on. 2
Right.
max. If they're already a savvy social media user, then they could do 2. If they are like learning social media for the first time, the only thing they know about is how to post, then
Yeah.
1, because it's so much to learn about both all these different platforms. So to focus on 1 and to figure out what it is that they want to do. I mean, we need to have what we call SMART goals, right? SMART,
Yeah.
you know, and if the acronym SMART is
Strategy,
specific, right? Specific, measurable, attainable.
Results.
I forgot results and
Results.
T. I forgot what T stands for, but I'll send it in to
Teaching.
you. But
Yeah, send it.
but it's basically a way of figuring out what the goal it is that you're trying to do. Remember what I said, you cannot do everything overnight. And in general, going back to part of what I work in the military, my job in the military right now as a lawyer is strategy and developing strategies. And one of the big things we've learned is that humans cannot multitask the way we think we can. We just cannot do it. And a lot of us boast on it. Like, I could do this while I'm doing this. And it's really the statistics, the reports, everything, the studies have shown that we really cannot multitask the way we want to. And I bring this up in this arena is to say that try not to do that when you're first starting out. You do one thing and try to get better at it. And then and that doesn't mean you stop doing everything else. What I mean when you say one thing is that if this week is the week on learning how to do better videos, and I'm going to do videos this week, then that is what I'm working on. I'm not working on Instagram, all these other things. I'm not working. Everything will come together, I promise you. But and I could see when I look at other people's, when they contact me to do a review of their social media platforms, I could tell that they are all over the place. I could tell there's no goals, there's no strategy, there's no mission. And I could tell that by looking that, your clients can tell that, and you won't get the sales that you're looking for. You're not going to attract a fan following because you don't know yet what you want to offer your fans.
Right.
So what I say to people is that if you are trying to become an influencer, is the first thing that I ask my clients to do when I work with them with social media is to send me what are your goals for the next 21 days, 30 days, 45 days, and 60 days.
Right.
So that forces you to really stop and think about it. Because sometimes people don't have a goal. I just want to be an influencer. That is not a goal. that is not a goal. Why do you want to be an influencer? Is it because you want to make money from it? Is it
Yeah.
because you just have a cause that you want people to know about this? Is it because you want to develop something? Is it because you want to push something out into the world? Why exactly do you want to become an influencer? And from there, we can then say, okay, in order to do that, here are some listed recommendations that may help put you in that path. But a lot of people really
I
don't
love
know
this
why
advice.
they want, they don't know why they want to do it. They just,
Yeah.
it sounds cool. It's a lot of work. So if you
Yeah.
don't want to do that work, you may want to know for sure that the end result you're working for is what you really want versus
Yeah.
I don't want to be on social media every day. Then you may not want to do social media influence because you have to kind of be in that world every day to
Yeah.
some degree.
Yeah, yeah, I love this advice so much. I mean, it's so relevant to our community just to say, hey guys, like, what are your goals? 21 days, 45 days. I forget what you said, 60 days, whatever. I do that too. I even, and it's funny because I looked at my goal board the other day and I'm like, you haven't been making moves on these goals, but okay. The 5 most important goals that I know
Right.
I'm going to get my results from.
Right.
I tend to maintain very well, but like pushing to the next goal, it's
Right.
like you said, it takes discipline. So in terms of discipline, I mean, you've exhibited a lot of it, and we talked a little bit about how you've grown your fan page in a very organic way, and organic growth is because you start to do the right thing consistently, and that can take time to figure out.
Right.
But what are some strategies that you've used, Ayana, for just growing your platform? So that could be like collabs or something else that like I might not know about to help the numbers grow, essentially.
Right. A couple things I've done in the past, and it, so one of the things is here are just some. I'm just going to throw out a bunch of things,
Okay.
especially for my Facebook group. One is to do in the group have various type of, and I haven't done it in a while, but I don't think I need to do it as much as I did in the beginning. I did it a lot more when I was growing, and at this point, it's not imperative that I do it as much as I did before. But it's to
Right.
have like little contests. So we
Yeah.
would have thrift contests, meaning you have $20 to put together the best outfit and have people post the outfits that they put together. And people really like that. They like that community sense of a contest and a competition. People really like competitions, and especially if they know that there is no major there's no major you know backfire that will happen if they don't win,
Right.
and
Right.
it's things that they already have at home. Like, you don't have to go out and buy, but you have to show like how much did you pay for certain things and a breakdown of it,
Of the
an
outfit.
outfit. Another thing we've done is a contest to, a celebrity look-alike, a celebrity outfit that's on the thrifty version, which big magazines do this all the time, right?
All
Looks
the
for
time.
less in style, but we do it
Yeah.
with thrifted and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So a lot of people like that. I've even done my own stuff where if you want to emulate an outfit I have done and do it on, show me how you would do it and things of that nature. So competition is a good one. Another good one is polls in, asking a question that will generate a a back and forth on responses. It's a good one for people to keep coming back to the group and bringing more people
I
to
love
the group.
polls. I love
Okay,
polls.
people love those all the time. Another one is to simply ask people to invite other people to their group. A lot of the people who come
Yeah.
into my group
I never
are
do that.
coming in. Oh, why not?
I don't know. I'm gonna start.
Just
Yeah.
you put out
I never
a
asked. I'll do
I've
tonight.
asked, you just
Yeah.
put out, hey, anyone who, guys, anyone that would love the things we share in this group, or the things that is that people bring to the group. You can invite people, and they can click on their friend's name and it just invites. So I have a lot of people who come to my group and you can tell when you go into the groups how they were recommended to the group, and it will
Yes.
say
Yeah.
it's invited by someone. So that's a great way of, a lot of times your friends, you have friends who have similar interests, and why would they not want something similar like that? Another thing that we've done to grow the Facebook group has been to have a people done video. We've done video where you have a video normally because it's with their iPhones and their phones.
Yeah.
It's very easy for them to use it. Like just conversations with their friends and post into the group as a video link about thrifting and what
Cool.
thrifting does for them. We've done lives, lots of lives, because that is a big thing to grow people. While you're on the live, you're telling, hey, if you know anyone who wants to be part of this group, you want to click them in, and I will, you know, invite them in immediately. Because normally I take about a week to bring people into a group because I just don't have the time. So it normally takes
That's
me
why I
about a
hired a
week
virtual
to.
assistant.
You have to, like, that's going to
Yeah.
be my next thing. But
Yeah, I
you need
will
to
refer
just
you. Yeah.
bring, okay, and things like that. So that is in the Facebook group. In Instagram, to grow Instagram is it is harder to be honest.
Really?
Instagram is harder because Facebook is focusing now on groups, and so they are pushing the groups. Like if you have your group listed under fashion or style, Facebook will automatically send out a referral to other people who are looking up fashion or style and recommend your group to be a part. So Facebook is pushing groups now, so it's super easy. So I would say anyone who wants to jump on a platform that's going to take off in 2020, it's your Facebook group is going to be easier until Facebook changes it and decides
Yeah.
they want to make money from it, and then you're going to have to probably do something later down the road. But I
Yeah.
would say right now your Facebook group is the place to be if you have a business, if you're selling, if you're trying to be an influencer.
Right.
You absolutely should get a Facebook group in 2020, and start rolling on it now, because Facebook is giving you the tools, and they're pushing it. So they're making it easier for people who want to start a group to get those
Yeah.
members into the group right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible. I love this advice. And I think that especially, we're talking to Thrift Boss babes, but you can have, as a reseller, a VIP customer group. Easy.
Right.
And you just let them know. And we interviewed Tanisha. I forget her last name, but she's amazing. And I forget her brand's name, but you know her. She has a group.
Discard to distinct.
Discard to distinct.
Yeah.
No, discard to distinct. That's what it is.
Yes.
And she has this VIP group, and that's how she makes her money. And it's less than 100 people, maybe 60.
Exactly.
So you're so right. I'm going to do a little write-up after this wraps of what your top tips are, because that's golden. But I'm curious, because I think we went through all of the questions. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that maybe you'd want to talk about, or some other bit of advice?
I want to throw out a couple of things that.
Awesome.
So in social media in the general, I think yes, it's a hard thing to do. It is almost like a part-time to full-time job. It is absolutely hard to do. But if you kind of remember why social media exists, then it makes it a little easier to crack the codes, right? Try not to think about it as I am going to open this group and all I do is sell. Or the only time I see you is because you have something on sale or you want me to buy something. Think about it as any other way this would be, that if I were to walk down the street and I saw you in a beautiful coat and I said, hey, I really love your coat, your answer will not be ever in person, you want to buy it. It will always be, thank you. I found this here. I normally buy these things here. If you're interested, here's my card. Contact me. Maybe I can find one for you, or blah blah blah. And people forget about that all the time, including in my groups, where if I let someone in right a minute, I normally let everyone in the beginning, because I don't have time to cull it through and figure out what's a spam.
Yeah.
And I tell Karen this all the time from Too Stylish Case, because she's always like, why are you letting everybody in? I'm like, because the people who are not there to be social and to just sell will identify themselves in seconds.
In
And
seconds.
sure enough, the minute they're in, you get the first post. I'm selling something. They have not said hello. They have not said who I am. They have not built any credibility or any trust like you've talked about. They've done nothing. They have started with buying, you know, buy this. And therefore, they're not successful. So I always tell people, like, hey, think about this as if we were out in the real world and you saw me in person. What is it you would do, even if you want to bring me on as a client, or you want to bring me on to buy something, or you want to exactly. And it doesn't mean that you have. We're not dating. You don't have to date for 6 months, but don't just do that, and don't do it with other people's groups, and definitely don't have anyone doing it in your group, as because it just throws away that sanctity that people who come to the group want. You know, when they're ready to buy, trust me, you don't have to sell. You will be able to sell without even saying I'm selling. So I would say that would be one of my biggest things. Don't forget what social media is about. Yes, it's a great way of connecting people to people that you probably would not have had access to 10 years ago. But people still come there because they want a reprieve from their reality. They want a reprieve from the people around them, and they find a common bond with the other members or with the individual, the influencer themselves. So give them information, give them things that they may want to know about. Talk about the scarf that, 5 ways to style the scarf. And the last way is, hey, if you want to buy it, it's for sale.
I love this. It's just like, even for myself, I've been doing this for so long, but certain things you just forget. You forget because you become impatient. And I think that that's a key word to reflect upon if you're a thrift boss babe using social media in any capacity. How impatient are you? And most likely, it's like you said, Ayana, it's because of time. But that's just the nature of the beast. Is that there's time. There's just time. But the fruits, once you can figure out a system, which is what you also painted, which is have a system. Oh, I lost Ayana. Guys, I'm going to try to bring Ayana back on. Oh, I can't bring her on. No, where is she? Part 2 of speaking to Ayana of Thrifting Divas about social media and how she uses social media. She has done a lot of consulting. She's building out a course, which I hope is going to happen sooner than later, so that I can share it with you guys. If you have not watched the first part of this interview, please do. It's pinned to the top of the announcements now. We did just officially wrap, even though I want to bring Ayana back on to actually say, I don't see her, to actually say goodbye. But it looks like I can't bring her back on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say goodbye from myself and Ayana. Please go follow her at Thrifting Divas. Join her Facebook group. It's hyperlinked here in the description. And then I'm going to literally just write down a few of her golden nuggets of wisdom so that you guys can review them and have a Cliff Notes version of what this, I think it was almost 2-hour interview was. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in, watching tonight's Learn and Earn Part 2 on social media, and I will see you again live Sunday night for another interview with an amazing reseller. Her name is Liz Baca, and she's incredible, and she's going to talk to us about her social media influencer as a vintage seller at a current affair and other amazing markets. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Bye.